Good day. My name is Martin Halliwell.
Yep.
It's a pleasure to have all you folks on our podcast. We're starting a new podcast called the Contractors Innovation Podcast, sponsored by CH Shotcrete Inc., a new company. William Chen and I, and possibly some other great individuals, are partners in this company. And we're going to be doing all things shotcrete. And this company, CH Shotcrete, will be exclusive for my patents. I have a dozen patents in Canada. So we can talk about the patents, but basically, this is the introduction to the sponsor for the Contractors Innovation Podcast. And what we want to do is tap into the contractors who really innovate things across Canada. And I think it'll be highly interesting for people to listen to. And we're going to have a bit of a laugh and learn feature to it with Brian's help and Dante's help. Dante is the producer,
Yep.
and we've asked him to hold a seat at the podcast as much as he can. Same with Brian. And basically, we want people to tell us about themselves and why their company is innovative and how they as a contractor compete using innovation.
Baby, I need to know.
So I'd like you to meet William Chen, who I've known for a while. He's a true shotcrete expert of final wall, and the final wall is typically the finished steel trowel wall, and we're planning to do FEH2O lock together,
Well,
which
you can
is
see the shotcrete wall behind me there. There's a
oh,
shotcrete wall and a form wall right there.
That's what you use when you tell people you're at work, huh?
Yeah.
I need one of those, huh, Dante? We need one of those walls behind us.
William, tell us a little bit about yourself. Take 5 minutes and tell us how your brother kicked you out and stuff like that. No,
right to the gravy.
yeah. No, tell us about yourself.
Well, I went through school to be an accountant, so I have an accounting background, accounting, and then started into business with my brother running a construction company. And then we basically built a lot of low-income housing. That's how we got started when in the Bob Ray era, when he was building low-income housing everywhere. Started out there, and then we graduated into doing small industrial malls, and then by the end we were doing Walmarts and big industrial stuff like that afterwards, building boxes and stuff like that. And then I moved from there and went into water treatment, wastewater treatment. So I built a lot of water treatment and wastewater treatment plants all over Ontario, um, all the way up from Kapuskasing to Windsor. So I did a lot of those, a lot of stuff for the regions. And then I moved into doing some solar parks, and I built solar parks. I built 3 of them in Smith Falls for Acon Construction. And from there, that's how I met Martin, because we were drilling foundations for the solar panels. And then I called Martin, and then he was like, "Oh, you're pretty knowledgeable at concrete. Do you want to start a shotcrete company?" So then I came back to Cambridge to HC Matcon and started their shotcrete division with them. And then that went good for a couple years until the guys from BC showed up and ruined the market. They didn't realize we were a unionized market in Ontario, brought their BC wages to us and ruined the shotcrete market. So then I got out of shotcrete for a while, and I went to build a few buildings, through a few industrial buildings, project managing and stuff like that. And then the guys from BC actually called me to help rebuild their company here in Toronto because they had a issue where they were splitting. So then I came in. I did so the
Torrent,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So the shotcrete behind me there is the subway station. They were forming it, so and then we came in and did the shotcrete section, and then we ended up going from one station to seven. We did seven shotcrete stations for them. So, yeah. So then, yeah, and then after that, Torrent tried to go back to just doing condos. I wanted to go all commercial, and they didn't want to. They didn't see the potential in that, so then they want to go back to condos, and now the condo market's dead. So, yeah. So, you know, we're seeing where the market takes us now.
So William and I are planning to do all forms of shotcrete. William, would you say that's accurate? Like we can do
Yeah.
bypass, we can
Yeah.
do soil nailing, and we can do final wall. And then I have a patent, which is a double 5-inch layer called FEH2O lock. And then we're aligning ourselves with Chem Concrete, which is truly like 95% waterproof. So that's sort of a supply channel that's being developed. But hopefully we'll be able to get Boris and Jim to supply us. We were going to get the line for Canada, and then it ended up that Boris got the line for Canada. He's out of Sudbury, but he needs someone to sell in Toronto. And William and I offered to do that, so we're waiting to hear that. But I would say William really understands the tools. Like he's an accountant, and he was doing his brother's books, but then he always would go out in the field. And I don't think there's anything in concrete you haven't actually touched and done, eh?
No, yeah, I've done pretty much everything because I started out on the tools, from shoveling ditches to forming to doing big fly panels and high rises, stuff like that. So,
and that's the thing with Dante, with construction, because I'm a guy who's always on the ground, right? Been a foreman and stuff, but usually the guys on the ground don't have respect for, say, the guys in the office because they have no clue what's going on.
Okay.
But see, because
William actually knows what he's doing.
Because he started from the bottom, he's one of them. Like he knows what's going on, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So that's good. He's a hands-on.
Yeah, the guys don't really I had one crew from PEI try to disrespect me. And then I basically was walking the site and I said to them, hey, that's not going to stay together. And they're like, oh, no, we know what we're doing, blah, 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 right? We've done this for years. I said, okay, when it blows out, you guys are going to go in that tank and you're going to shovel all the concrete out of there.
What happened?
It blew out. And you never seen three guys.
Potato farmers didn't listen. Look what happened, huh?
You never seen three guys move so fast in your life.
So they didn't do their bracing properly?
Super.
No. I had snap ties there. And they were like, oh, yeah, no, we can use rebar wire twisted together. So they'd taken their drill and making a tie of their own out of rebar
like
wire.
Mickey Mouse. Mouse.
Yeah. So I was like, that's never going to stay together. They're like, no, we've been doing this for years. We'll have no problem.
Yeah, people don't realize the pressure of concrete in those forms. Crazy pressure.
What are you saying, Martin?
I was just saying, Brian and William, at some point in time, William, you should show Brian the shotcrete business. Brian can come and work with us either in the winter or because he works for what's the name of the company now? The road company.
I work for Cox. I work for Cox Construction. They're out of Guelph. They do a lot of roads.
I know the Cox guys.
Yeah, they've been around for a very long time. The owner of Cox just celebrated 100-year-old. He's 100 years old. Yeah. You know the secret is lots of money, roads. My friend. Lots of money. No, I can't.
What's the secret?
He's a very nice man, very nice family. I really enjoy working for them. I worked for Martin early 2000, maybe 2001. I worked for Martin a long time ago. We had a great working relationship. But for me, it's not always about the money. It's about, the guys you work with.
Yeah.
The conditions of work.
Yeah.
Stuff like that's undervalued sometimes. People just think it's about how much I'm getting paid per hour. And it's not always, for me, it's not that anyways.
Yeah. Question for you, William. You said that, you were you were basically going to wait and see where the shotcrete market takes you. What are some things that, you might see coming down the pipeline? Or if there's a concrete term for that, I don't know.
The pipeline, yeah.
Well, shotcrete they're basically now the Ontario line starting up. So I think in a year and a half, 2 years, there's 3 stations that are dedicated to shotcrete. So, and those are big stations. So,
Would that be GIP?
No.
No, who's going to be doing those? That'd be a general like Acon? Or?
No, it'll be under the concrete scope. So the Verde Alliance will take it, and then they'll sub it to CSI or. I know that when I was with Torrent was pricing them, but they weren't very
open to taking outside.
Well, they weren't open to negotiating with, like, they just wanted, this is our number, blah blah blah, right? This is they didn't know how to play the game, basically.
And when it comes to shotcrete, I don't know if you know exactly what shotcrete is. It's when we're shooting the concrete against the wall.
Yeah.
Right? And then so you get that finished product at the end. Now, you were saying something that the BC companies came in and ruined it.
Yeah.
Like, how do you
ruin the Ontario market?
what was the major things that was kind of messing up our stuff?
So they priced it by square foot, right? So the square foot price. So they brought their BC pricing to the Ontario market.
Is that even legal? Because we're unionized and stuff.
That's what they didn't realize that. So they just came in, told the generals we could do it for the BC price. And then they got unionized after, right? So then all of a sudden they were like losing their shirt. And they were like,
so they had to stick to the agreement that they made before they realized.
Yeah.
Was that Torrent, William?
Yeah. Wow,
that's a big mistake, eh?
That's a huge mistake. What, they did all the work first and then realized they had to pay everybody, or?
No. So they came in, they took the work at BC pricing.
Yes.
Right. And then all of a sudden,
the union comes in.
And then the union comes in and unionizes them and says, hey, you owe us all these dues. So.
And they're already started working.
Yeah,
they're already
they're already too deep.
And when you're talking losses, you're talking millions of dollars.
Yeah, they lost like $2 million or something in the first year.
Crazy money. It's crazy money. Concrete is such a crazy thing because it takes tons and tons of concrete. Now, that new concrete that Martin's been talking about, he says that it's stronger, it repels water, and you don't have to go with thick, correct?
Yeah, basically, we're able to replace waterproofing with concrete because it's 95% waterproof. So it increases strength, and it's actually affordable. It's a 5 hybrid nano, and it's called Chem Concrete. Some pretty sharp guys, Iranian guys from Western Sydney University in Australia. Jim Kaler, who I introduced to it for the U.S., has the U.S. out of L.A., and then Boris Nanouf out of he handles Rainbow Concrete in Sudbury. But the thing is, he doesn't have any coverage in Toronto. So William and I are basically saying to him, well, like, we'll be a rep. But Ross King was the same thing. When Ross King came to town, he's from Vancouver, William, we had to live with, he was priced at $8 a square foot, and that work is worth 17, 18. So Matcon got pissed off, like the partner in Vancouver, because he saw losses, and that kind of put a lot of pressure on me and William at the time with our shotcrete crews, because we had to get some work and train guys. But now we know the rules now. We've learned a lot, and Brian, it would be good for you to learn the nozzling. So Dante, it's 3/8 stone.
I'm pretty good with the nozzle. How about you, Dante? We can hold our own. Oh, we can hold our own.
I can hold my own nozzle. That's about it.
Have you ever shotcreted, Brian? No, seriously. Have you?
It's a lot of. It's like 10, 12 guys in a crew. Sometimes I've seen it in action. It's a dirty job. It's a very dirty job.
Yeah.
I'm interested to kind of see it like in action because like I haven't seen. I mean, I've only heard about shotcrete from you guys, so even like just the thought of like spraying the concrete onto the wall and then like all that stuff.
Yeah, it would be cool one day to take our podcast on a job site and take a look at actually how you guys get it done, right?
That'd be pretty cool.
That'd
actually.
be fun.
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
Just a heads up, this call has just over 6 minutes, so I'll send another invite if we want to continue.
I'm good with it. I think it's a good improvised impro, and anyway, I'm gonna take off, guys. I'm gonna get Sam to. Hey, something happened to footprintengineering.ca, William. We got to renew that. So it's a good name, footprintengineering.ca. You know, when you Google it, it tells the whole story, because it was such a unique name.
Yep.
If you Google that name, it turned out to be a good name anyway. So thanks, Monte, for your time, buddy. Putting up with trying to get online there.
Yeah, no problem. We're going to do like a professional sign-off so that it can edit that little middle piece part that we just talked and just do a little sign-off, right?
Yeah. So yeah, you could just do like the outro, Martin, if you want to go ahead and just say like, thanks for watching.
I'd like to thank all the listeners and encourage them to laugh and learn with us with the Contractors Innovation Podcast with characters like Brian, who's a stand-up comedian, and we'll have all kinds of interesting guests from across Canada and the US that can bring to you not only shotcrete innovation, but many other innovations, such as an opportunity to talk about my patents, but also to talk about best practices. And, you know, William has a lot of those. He understands how to finish a wall. And it's amazing, Dante, when you see it, it's like drywall finished. Like, it
looks like it. Like it looks like it doesn't look like, from the picture that you have as your background, it doesn't even look like it was sprayed, because when I think of it being sprayed, I imagine like a popcorn ceiling looking thing, right? But
that's how it starts out, and then the guys then they float it with a hand trowel, and then they trowel it with a steel trowel after.
Definitely, we should have William on again and pick his brain a little bit more
for sure,
right?
So because I'm heavy equipment, I'm everything. Like, I've done big earthwork projects and road building and everything. So
very cool.
I think we might get into some very interesting jobs, William and I. We got to put bonding in place, and that should happen this month. Before you go away, William, I might be able to put that in place. So, like we talked about, just. Hey, by the way, William, can you make it to Natter's breakfast on the 11th? Natter and sorry.
I love Martin. Martin, you're the best. You know what I mean? You're the best. We need to get cue cards for this guy. We need cue cards.
Yeah. No.
We need. Hey, before you go anywhere, Chen, you know this guy came to my comedy show. You were there.
Oh yeah.
This guy comes. You know what he does? First thing he does. I got on video, so we're gonna put this. This man comes in right to the front, right in front of me as I'm talking, and starts picking up 3 or 4 girls right there. And it's like, hey, honey, how you doing? And you can see him in my shot. He's talking to the girls. Like, don't you know this is a comedy show? Come on.
Hey, you're never too
Anyways,
old.
guys, I had a lot of fun. Dante and I are here in Stratford. You guys are at home. We had a lot of fun, and we're going to get together, do this again. So thanks, guys, for coming out.
Look forward to doing it maybe 1 or 2 a week.
Yeah.
That'd be
Sounds
great.
good.
thanks, guys.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Peace.
Okay.
Have a good
See
one.
ya. Bye.
Adios.
Baby,